Chosen ones, have you ever wondered why people are attracted to you, but keep their distance? They can view of your value, but refuse to invest fully in you. You carry an energy that spreads love in a way that feels never-ending. But this love is not soft or easily contained. It's a furious, unyielding drift of wind across through others, leaving both of them. Mesmerized and unsettled, they feel the force of your presence in the way you make. Let them feel seen through to their core, but feel too the depth of your independence. Both of you are the storm and the stillness after it, and this duality, but leaves them confused and foggy with fear. They know that to be near you means to be vulnerable, and vulnerability scares them. Your love isn't a fleeting warmth. It's an all-consuming thing, fire that spreads everything, the flaws they hide, yet the truth they dare not speak. So they teeter on the edge, wanting to bathe in your light, but recoiling at the intensity of it. They crave your energy, but fear the cost. Because you don't just give, you demand reciprocal without ever saying a word. You ask for nothing. Yet, your very presence requires everything you possess, not to pursue connections or to beg. For that's why they are afraid of validation, sense that you can walk away without a backward glance, with which you may love full, and yet to let go without being overwhelmed through bonding. And this more than anything disturbs them. They have never. She met anybody who can love so deeply and still, yet not touched by the desire to cling. People are attracted to your power, to the mere gravitational pull you have just by existing. They want to be in your orbit, but instinctively know that to stay there deserves more than most are. Want to give, they will take instead. From you, your light, your love, your energy, without the sacrifice. But you are not someone who can be carried in the middle. You are a power of nature, and to be with you means to step into knowing. It will change as the storm keep you in shore. You are a mirror. It reflects the greatest vulnerabilities of those around you, and that reflection is something they cannot bear to face when people move away from you. It is not because they do not see your worth. They do more brightly than they ever confess. They frighten them. They feel it strengthens your ability to stand whole without seeking approval, and that stirs the unease within them. Your presence alone challenges the fragile walls they've built around their vulnerabilities. Their avoidance is not a reflection of your value, but a desperate try to hide from themselves inadequacies. They know that giving this, therefore, would mean taking all this into a truth they are unwilling to face. You therefore evoke this silent fear within them, the fear that in your light their own shall shadows be revealed, who wear masks, indifference attempting to persuade themselves and others that they are self-sufficient. But their coldness is a shield not for thee, but against the glaring truth that they depend on external validation. When they project their emotional distance, they really build walls to protect themselves from the vulnerability of your presence. Ask to see you is to see the type of completeness they cannot conjure within. They pretend to be strong themselves, though every time they feel your energy, it reveals how fragile their facade truly is. They fear that embracing their presence would strip away their defenses and expose them liable on the very approval they need not claim. You power, your independent nature makes them question the shaky foundation of theirs. It is easy for to build. Make them step aside while giving partially, rather than risking being undone by your clarity. They prefer to live in an illusion of their strength, then confront the fact that you only by being the gaps having coercively made them have. In their armor, you chosen one demand a form of honesty most are not ready for face. You are the undeniable force, magnetism, and people cannot help but feel elected to his orbit. But the very thing that brings them to stand in your presence scares them off. They feel with unsettling clarity that as you give love broadly, wholly, you are not bound by attachment. You have a power that any lack the ability to let go, to sever ties without being swamped over by loss. This scares them to the bone because they know that though they may hug you, should not their dread of your exile create a manipulation dynamic and control, they want to keep you close, but not so close that they fear if they deliver completely over themselves, they will left vulnerable. Standing in the wake of your absence, they withhold love, rationing their emote investment like a currency they expect to purchase for them, protection from the pain they anticipate. They build barriers, trying to keep me at the distance that feels safe, even while wanting you. Energy. It's not that they do not want to love you or that they don't feel the pull of your presence is knowing. So you could step out without looking. A foreback that creates this tension they see in you, like a freedom that feels dangerous, freedom that they do not have and can't understand you. Chosen one are not held captive by fear of abandonment. You are not bound to any individual approval or verify this independence, this ability to love with boundaries. This makes them both desperate for your attention and afraid to lose, so they play games. They create emotional distance, hoping to save themselves from the day they fear you'll decide to leave them back up, trying to keep you wanting more, thinking this will give them all the powers. But avoid end effort. They know deep down that the amount withheld will be different. The fact that you, unlike them, do not dependent on their love, you loved fiercely, but you are not afraid to let go. And above all, it is what scares them. You are a catalyst, a force that others feel will change direction. It feels when they see you, something in themselves change, an untapped potential coming to the surface. You wake a spark in them, a feeling that being near you will transform everything. A growth they cannot reach alone. They know consciously or not that you carry the type of energy that lifts those who come in your way. But this high. This comes at a cost they aren't prepared to combat. They are drawn to you because they believe that being close to your energy locks doors in their lives, opening the possibilities they had only dreamed of, and often it does. After being in your presence, they experience success, clarity, or emotional breakthroughs. But there's a painful irony. While you ignite change in them, they can't hold on to you. They see as the means to their growth. Yet they are haunted by the realization that you will not remain by your side. You do not let their eyes see the transformation because you don't care about the outcome. Your role is not to hold on but go forward. Look forward to continue your way. Unattached, their fear of missing you, by living through your detachment, they paralyzed. They want presence you bring, but they dread the day you will stroll away, leaving them to life, as better yet, missing your presence. You know that you can love them still, let go without thought. This truth is what frightens them the most, that they may be to become better after knowing you yet. So they will not be able to hold you. They want to hold on to the magic in you bring, but know that you are chosen one, not theirs to keep. And so they linger caught between wanting the transformation you give and fear the day when you will, no doubt, leave us. They are attracted to you not only for who, but that one only for what one's energy can do for them in the obsidian inner order. We teach you how powered by astral atom. Harness that energy, how to move with power. Others are holding on to your light. Over 350 chosen ones already stepped up, and you are called upon to do the same. And here's the kicker. Chapter 3 of Modern Manifestation Mechanics is now. This is where we will teach you. Literal magic, not metaphorical, not symbolic, actual old customs that are too raw, too unfiltered for YouTube. You like the way for others, but you're not staying here. That is the fact. We enter with our uncensored video content available only to ourselves, Inner Order members. The third chapter of Contemporary Manifestation Mechanism unveils something that transcends manifestation. It brings you into the world of wizardry. Turn to steer you techniques kept silent for centuries. They know you come from elsewhere, and they dread the day you walk away, taking them with the fire you lit. But rise and hear, you're to ascend, to join the Obsidian Inner Order. Now link to. The Patreon is in the description. There are only a few left to the elite star. Chamber, this is your chance to unlock the real power you have been waiting for you. Carry a radiance that cannot be hidden, yet others will try to. They know how to hide, even if they deny. To say it, your presence is something so rare, something they are never matched fully. And this knowledge, it makes them ignite in fear of their own inadequacies. The fear that you shall outshine my brilliance to. They protect their fragile egos by resorting to manipulation, feeding you breadcrumbs of attention, only to go on speaking around, but never enough to nourish your soul. They see your value, but they pretend not to mask their admiration without indifference, cheapening your light for me to come home. Themselves feel larger in your presence. They hide true love to give small acts of care only when they sense of you pulling away calculated effort, a control strategy by offering they are only enough to keep you tethered. Hence, keep ahead and guarantee that they will never have to face your brilliance's highlighted inadequacies. The emotional trail lent to them, it's written to make you question your own. Worth to make you believe what you tender is not undue, when in fact, it's all they know they are missing. They hope that your light will dim, can only maintain their dominant position superiority. But the truth is, they are not protecting themselves against you. Them is fighting back against the stark reality of a self-insecurities that you, chosen one, are not unknown to this game. You feel the undercurrent of manipulation, the way they try to keep you little to keep you, of questions and keep standing up their crumbs can be used to, probably won't perform any worse than cannot contain the force of your ascent. They know they fall short of who they hold back, hoping that by keeping you in arm's reach, just beyond their reach, face the reality you are over and above them. You have the sting of that grasp rejection more often than most, but each elaborate on your own perception of your worth. You have stood in the aftermath of betrayal, after watching those who could not cope with your power bid to diminish you. They feared your light, and in their fear drew back, leaving you to fight the sting of their detachment. But in that place where you found all the rejections wrote on the mirror, reflecting not your own inability, but theirs. The refusal to accept something better than themselves, these experiences have not broken you. They hardened. You've had to rise above the manipulations of those who are terrified by. Their power sought to control it. They wanted your light, but feared being, and were alarmed by it. They just ran back. They left you for fear, but deep inside that abandonment, you found a of resilience. Few develop that you learned that your value had never been dependent. They said yes, but you said no. Let their insecurity define you. Identity. Through these betrayals, you have learned the art of balance, loving deeply, but knowing when to let go. You can offer, you let yourself go fully, but never. Tethered this ability to pour yourself into others without losing yourself. Self leaves many worried they are not. She's used to such freedom, to such might. They should love will bind and control. You are not shackled. You love more violently yet. You walk away when necessary, unscathed with their abs. This is your power, mastery of detachment. And they feel it, they fear it. It demands them to cope up with their own inadequacy, independence, their dependence on foreign validation. They want to hold on to you, but they know you're not going to be brought into court by anything or anyone that does not fit your level of authenticity. You have won your freedom by fire, and this elect one is power that cannot be shatters when people enter your orbit. They feel something stir within them, an energy that pushes them to stand up for reach heights they hadn't thought. Maybe your presence acts like a surge power of unlocking potential in and out. As of yet, they start viewing themselves as more than they once were. They believe they have become the prize, elevated by the sheer force of being near you. Relish the thought that they are somehow stronger just because you respect them. But beneath all this, in knowing fear, newfound confidence lies. They only feel your emotional freedom, an unbeatable power that drives them uneasy. They know without a shadow of revel in the doubt which allows them spotlight of your attention, you are not encreate for your love deep. Not tie you to someone you would not cling to, you don't want, which scares. They try to revive themselves. They are so central that once one given your heart, it cannot be easily reclaimed. But see the truth there, hidden deep inside your eyes, the truth that they could go away without a second thought. They fear seeing their baby grow old. The day your look that once had uplifted them shall not come forward unencumbered by a pedestal. They know you will not think about leaving, not out of coldness, but from a fierce appreciation of your own. What they most fear is worth it. You are not afraid to leave them behind. Them know that even though they feel you're being seen as the prize to which the definition is applied, correspondence. And you are just as eager to let it go as you would have made it. Your power is not just an ability to be highly loved in your role. So easy to detach. The love's balance and liberty will make them believe they cannot control it and leaves them reaching for something never there, hers to hold you, walked through. Fire, and each step has been a lesson in discovering your own worth. The path have been marked by rejection, not because you lacked value, but as others could, does not understand the scale of what it implies. Stand up to join such of you as betrayal. Each moment of being cast aside is forcing you to look at yourself. Understand the power and brilliance carry itself without depending on other validation. You were never meant to fit into the crevices. They were trying to lock you up with the people you will find. Are easily drawn to your energy, but they are not completing the donations they have initiated. They fear the whole truth that they are not equipped to stand as your equal. They to feel the burden of their inadequacies in your being, and instead of emerging, meet you. They retire. It is not your love or your value that keeps them away. It's their horror at being identified as what they fail to fully invest in. This implies meeting the shadows inside for themselves, and many are not prepared for people, counting this cycle of rejection has not weakened you, but made strong, freed you with each soul that came up far. You have been compelled to face the raw, undeniable truth that your worth is not bound to their failure to remain, are not capable of holding the fullness of which you give it. For it needs kind of courage they do not. They have the known. Hinam they require more than they are willing. They do neither give nor serve. So you are not worthy, but they fear. Being unveiled by your light, before this you have learned to see yourself. Clearly, you don't want it anymore. Acceptance or approval from those also scared to see you as a peer. They understand they are unable to, investing fully, reflects their reality based on their yours, not own you. Chosen one, have declared your independence by the mere fact. Rejections intended to deflate it, you have achieved a mastery that few dare to challenge the art of detachment. You represent both the vicious ability to give love unconditionally and the irresistible might to draw it out when needed. This balance of deep affinity and utter self-sovereignty is a force that leaves people wobbly, uncertain about what to do. The storm and calm within you. They sense your ability to love without losing himself to love another. Surrendering control, and it unnerves. Show them your mastery is based in clarity. You see through people in ways they cannot hide. You look past their facades, past the masks they wear too. In order to protect fragile egos, it scares them. They are aware that in your presence the illusions they hold onto can't stand beside you. See the flaws they hopefully no one will mind, the gaps in their armor and the cracks in her carefully crafted people. This vision is not one of judgment, but the truth is something that most are so ill-equipped to face. It's much easier for them to retreat, to quench the spark of their piercing look, one who can't be deceived by superficial charm or empty of meaning. They fear you because you are not underlined by attachment. Your love and deep, transformative, and not confining. You are not persuaded by manipulation or games of emotions. And that is something most can't understand. To them, love is very often accompanied by addiction and takes on, holds both in place. Yet you, O chosen one, are different. You may give away your heart, take it back. Still, taking the same breath, if the situation it demands, you are not afraid to walk. Far be free of what is no more, serves you, and that power unsettles those wanting to control through emotions. Entanglement, people sense that they hold you to ransom with their approval to love or to their presence. They know that if they err, if it does not meet the standard of authenticity and integrity you seek, thou shalt not let them go. This is not maltreatment. It is, Master, you recognize that your worth isn't inherent into any other's powers of appreciation. You have the power of control over your own heart, and that makes you untouchable. Chained by what most people are tangled into, their need for external validation of your ability to love and let go is quite equal pace after all. It makes you feared as dearest of my elect, this be. Your obvious fact of life are a force orienting towards driving both exceptional love and unshakable. Detach your powerly, not only in how care about them deeply, but in the profound. Strength it takes to walk away when necessary. Every rejection, every betrayal, every moment in which others did not invest, sharpen this ability thoroughly in you. You are not restricted by the constraints of those who fear more your light than you. Know how to rise above, and when recovery of energy, your trip has not in vain. Each test has shaped you into someone capable of barring both the susceptibility to love and the city of liberation. You are not to settle for those who cannot. Match your energy. You are sure to connect with others who, just like you, experience strong as they are to step into fullness of your strength. Your power to detach, to move on without losing yourself, is part of what makes you of strength. Formidable shows that, beyond hesitation or apology, you are better than holding both love and detachment, because both will be needed in your growth. Now it is time to take your truth and feel it. Declare your story proudly. Let the world see the path you walked and the wisdom you gained. Your experience is not only your own, it is a testifying to the might of knowing your worth. If this message has touched your heart, share it with others. Help spread my word of love and hope. Remember, I am always with you, guiding and loving you. Until we meet again, my dear child.